It's rare that a father initiates his son into manhood anymore. And it's more common that a son rejects that masculine energy because of a dysfunctional father or masculine figures in his life. This leads him to be overly identified with the feminine, which can be great for sensitivity, compassion, and all of these things. But he generally is more inclined to, say, spirituality, and then going deeper and deeper into the feminine principle. I did it for a year. Floaty, indecisive, non-polarized in relationships, surrender, into yoga, into these practices. All well and good to develop your surrender principle, but without your will to action, without your backbone, without your foundation and boundaries on this earth, you're in the abyss. You're floating around, you're directionless, and you're opening yourself up for dangerous relationships with women who you're polarizing through your overly identified feminine principle to their overly identified control principle. That you're opening yourself up to Jezebels who are wanting that bit of control, who can happily talk absolute nonsense, disrespect, even throwing shade at you, and you'll hold sacred space because this is what you're meant to do. Holding space is not negating your truth. Many people have moved so far away from not judgment, my truth, your truth. We can do what we want. I don't judge. Discernment is a whole different thing. And if someone's lying, if someone's manipulating, if someone has even just said something that's a limiting belief for them and you want to call it out, a good woman loves that. A good woman needs that. A woman who just wants to be able to, oh, it's just my wounding, is dangerous. Your wounding, cool, yeah. If you want to be with me, we're here to move through it. And once you see a woman who genuinely wants the growth, you'll be like, wow, that's what it is. That's what it is. And they've never had it because many men are still appeasing women from the mummy wound. Want to be mummy's favorite, get your validation from women, go hang out with women friends, and play within the women's sphere. If you're listening to these women who actually aren't fully conscious at all yet, that what they're going to say they want from a man is pretty much, I want to feel safe to just be able to say or do whatever I want. I have some trauma and some stuff, and if you're going near that, that's unsafe for me, even though it's true. I'd rather just like play safe in my own thing. And sometimes I play out my wounding. That's wild. Don't do that. But you're going to open yourself up for that in the passive masculinity. And our job is to lead. Our job is to lead in love. And you become artful in the way that you speak your truth. You speak your truth because that's what you do. It's not vulnerable. You just have something that comes in and you express it. You've lost the need for validation. And you're also imperfect, that it's not always going to be the most gorgeous thing that comes out of your mouth. But a woman will respect you for that. You want respect, not validation. I was speaking with a woman the other day and she's like, met a spiritual guy. And she's like, I swear he's gay. He has to be gay. I'm like, he's not gay. He's just overly identified with the feminine principle. And that's just what he is. That's what he thinks he needs to do. And he's like, yeah, he's trying to hit on me, but he's gay. I'm like, he's not gay. He's not gay. He'll be actually a good guy. But the spirituality scene is just overly identified there. There's a suppression of the sacred masculine. If you look at Mark Passio's work about why the New Age exists, if you believe that, it comes from, it's designed to lead these men into passivity. The sacred masculine is action. If you haven't formed a will for action, and the boundaries and the solidification, this surrender is no good. You want to surrender your will of action to the higher, and then even if your action is on the purpose and your ego comes along, you'll have more power there. When that's aligned, you're really on. And these men are good men. I don't make these videos to bag out these men. I did it for a year. Most of my friends went through it for a year or something, but many are getting lost there forever. And these men I know do the work. You have the energetic sensitivity now. You're learning great things there. And learn that you lost yourself there, and there's another part of you that is getting evoked. There's this masculine spirit within you that has been undernourished. There's a masculine part of you that you've shamed. There's parts of yourself that you maybe ran away from Try to transcend, transmute, alchemize, step into them. Love your wild man, because once that energy comes on, you're never going back to be 50-50 guy. No one does. There's no masculine man that goes back to wanting to play in the, I need to balance my energies, I need to be more in my feminine. They just operate from this right action in integrous place. Of course there's action, of course there's non-action, and there's stillness, and there's alignment. There's all of these things. But you can see it within the nature. And these 50-50 dudes will often shame the masculine, even the way they speak or what they're doing. Because in this world, it's often the alpha men are very in action, but a lot of their action might be selfish or still in the matrix. Then we've got the people who are tapping into the more energetic realms, but they're losing themselves in this passiveness and non-action. Be the Christic pillar in the middle, a man who is doing God's work, but he's very in his body, he's very here. And the power comes from your actual spiritual connection, which is funny, that like doing the spiritual stuff will be the least spiritual stage you've had. When you step into your center and start operating from you, which is aligned to something else, you'll get the juice. You can see if a guy's dropping into passivity and not able to stand up and speak his truth, I would doubt his spiritual connection. Why would your spiritual connection have you fold and not be able to express? It'll strengthen your spine. It'll move you on to mission. And there's different stages, and there's no need to shame or perpetuate any of it. But I can see there's a thing here. And this is the dudes I work with, because it's a click. They need permission to actually activate those parts of themselves. They've been taking on information that is leading them into passiveness. They've been doing practices that are just surrender, surrender, surrender. They've been listening to the advice from uninitiated women about what women want in relationships. The real women want a man. The world needs a man. Your spiritual connection will be uplifting your spine and able to speak your truth under all circumstances. There's no like true spirituality that's like, yeah, I became a woman. No, at your essence, you're a dude. At your essence, you're connected. It's like, it's going to strengthen you. And there's phases and waves of surrender, of rebirth, of dying, of taking in different things. And the things you've learnt will be all well and good. But men are under-initiated by other men. Men are not having the activation of the masculine energy, because you will know. You will know, and you will not look back. Yeah, I'm free now. No. Every new level has a new devil. You've got this whole new energy. It's fun. You might take a few side quests just to learn the power of yourself from there and begin the integration journey. You will change. If you haven't come down to the lower kingdom, had remedy around your sexuality, have a relationship with that, feel powerful there. Look at the wounds and things you carry. Are you running away from them or towards them? You need to bring all of you along. And this masculine bit is the most juicy, most powerful. You are a man. That is a majority masculine energy. In your union with a woman, you will go even more into the masculine pole, having her drop into the feminine pole, and unite that, which is the way back. These men often don't need to further invest in doing more and more feminine practices. It's the masculine initiatory energy that has not been passed on, but is there. It's your birthright to have that. You were born into this body for a reason. You have balls. You have courage. You can speak from depth. Take the adventure. Be around men. Have big conversations with men who have had that. It's an energetic thing. I was thinking about kids and how, it's like, children learn from seeing the polarized relationship of your mum and dad, and that's how they learn and embody it. We still learn like that. We're just not seeing it enough. You got the alphas over here doing that. You don't want to be that. Well, I'm more spiritually inclined, so I'm going to be a monk. We need more warriors. We need more spiritual warriors doing stuff in the world, not monks resting in feeling good. Feeling good all the time isn't important when you're doing good. When you're moving into righteous action, when your spine is stood up because your flame is lit and you're willing to speak your truth. We're not falling into the feminine chaos of my truth, your truth. That's just all play around in the truth. There's a part of you that knows some things and moves you onto your path, and you will trust it and you will forget it all the time. But because you have touched it, it needs to be evoked. It needs to be evoked. That's why I said why Tate activated some spiritual dudes. It was just that warrior dormant in them. Doesn't mean you become them. It doesn't mean you have to do those things. But when the masculine energy clicks, like when I looked after my father, like when his energy went into me, I changed. I put on 6 kilos. I started speaking my truth. I got in a polarized relationship with a witch. I worked on that sexual energy to love it and then transmute it and then move into high level sex. It's an important part of the journey, which I can see common links. There are the spiritual type dudes who are clearly over-identified in the feminine, but they do have the sexual impulse there. So then they can become the tantric flow boy and sort of play the nice space holding games, but it's all to appease the women or get the women or feel that validation of their manhood through the women, rather than through that energy of them moving on to their mission, which will attract you the best women. But who cares? There's something lit in you. You're not moving from the validation of women and the mummy wound from the validation of mummy, or the daddy wound and rejecting that masculine energy within you. We need these dudes unlocked. If you want to work with me and unlock it, you can. Community coming. Let's go next week. I'm excited. The energy has shifted. I want to have these conversations and I want to get the homies together and keep the flame alight. Understand we're here for a reason. Understand that it's so awesome to be a man in these times. It's so awesome to be a man in these times. Remember that. You're needed. God bless.